What's up, guys? It's Uncle Freedom coming to you on a glorious and well-deserved day off. Yeah. So today, we're going to take a look at something that's very near and dear to my heart. Again, it's something I love doing, and that is training. And we're going to talk about my top 10 mistakes that I see in the training world right now. No, I am not telling you that what I do is the perfect way and you should emulate me in every way, because that is a stupid decision. And as I said in a previous video, just because a gun tuber told you it was great doesn't mean it's great. And just because it cost you a bunch of money doesn't mean it fucking works. So those of you that have checked out some of my previous videos, I appreciate it. Those of you that just watched the one I recently dropped about my top mistakes I see with gear setups and waste of money, yeah, I pissed some people off with that, and that's fine. Usually the people I make really mad that defend their position pretty vehemently are always the ones that are doing something on that list that I'm like, this is dumb. And they want to defend it to the end. And you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. If you think it's awesome, this is America. Do your own thing. But I'm just telling you, as a firearms instructor, someone that does this for a living, I see these things a lot and they don't work. So, my top 10 training mistakes. Yeah, let's get into it. But first, go ahead and like, subscribe, tell a friend, hit that notifications bell on the bottom. And I still have something like 80% of the people that watch my video are not subscribed, which is wild. But go ahead and like, subscribe, tell a friend. So anyway, top 10 training mistakes. Here we go. First up for me is not enough dry fire. Dry fire costs you literally nothing. Period. It can cost you nothing. All you need is your firearm and a safe area in which to point it and something to point it at. You don't even need ammo. That's why it's called dry fire. A lot of people will say, I don't understand it. I don't do it. It's a waste of time. Whatever, dude. I dry fire every day. When I get ready to go to work, I put on all my gear, I unload my service pistol, and the first thing I do is I get 10 good draws, good sight pictures with my handgun. I load that handgun and I go to work. That means that if something were to happen 5 minutes into my day, it will not be the first time I've drawn that handgun that day. Same thing when I'm off duty. I put on my concealed carry rig immediately. I get 10 good reps, 10 good draws on there. We're good to go. If it's nighttime, I get the same reps before I leave the house, but I include the light, because it does me no good at night if I don't activate the fucking light. So, dry fire, guys. It doesn't have to cost you anything. There are a lot of great options. The Mana system, which is awesome. I have one. It's amazing. The dry fire mag, also amazing. Though it is a little expensive. It's $100 for a clicky mag. I'll say it like it is. But they are really cool and they do work. Something as simple as a blue gun. This is a blue gun. You can use this for getting your grip, and actually seeing your sights. You can do that with just this right here. And I will do this a lot of times if I'm sitting there watching TV. I'll have it sitting on the table and I'll pick it up and get my grip, and I'll evaluate my grip and I'll keep going. Nobody's safe from me on whatever TV show I'm watching from me in the wrath of my blue gun. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get dry fire reps. You don't. You already have the stuff you need to do it. So get some good dry fire reps. Even if you don't draw it, you just practice getting that good master grip on the gun when you come down, making sure that placement is the same every time. Like you see it, I came down too high that time. That's why you dry fire. Be honest with yourself. If it doesn't work, admit it doesn't work and move on. Try to do better the next time around, but get some dry fire reps. The next one is not being diverse enough in what you do. I know guys that literally can run an AR. They love shooting an AR. That's their favorite thing, but they cannot shoot a handgun to save their life. Or they can't run a shotgun, but they own a shotgun. Or they don't know how to run a bolt gun. Diversity, guys. You have to be diverse. I was told by a gentleman that he hated AKs. I don't like AKs. I don't like anything about AKs. I'm like, okay, well, what kind of AK do you have? I don't have one. I don't like them. Okay, well, how many of them have you shot? Well, I don't like them. I just don't shoot them. So you have a very uninformed decision, right? Like your opinion really carries no weight because you've spent zero time on the platform, so you actually don't know if you like it. As a huge AR fan, I will tell you I have 3 AKs, one of which is an Arsenal, and that thing runs like a sewing machine, and I absolutely adore that gun. But I've run it a lot. You need to be able to pick up different weapons platforms and actually run them and get an experience behind them. I will say, love or hate Lucas from T-Rex Arms, this is a place he excels in. Yes, he's got money. He's got all these things that most of us don't have access to. But he does put in the time and effort to learn multiple different weapon systems, multiple different operating systems, long distance shooting, handgun shooting, precision shooting, fast shooting. You know, he does that. And where he doesn't know, he's very honest that I don't know how to do that. So I will give him props for that. That guy is an encyclopedia of knowledge. He goes out, he shoots a bunch of different stuff, but he's diverse in what he does. He doesn't just go and do one thing. He shoots everything, and then he can make an informed decision of, I don't really like AKs because I'm slower coming under. I would really prefer an AR because of this. Maybe you like a different caliber in your AR, but you won't know any of these things unless you diversify and you shoot different stuff. But, you know, pistols, ARs, shotguns, bolt guns, distance shooting, fast shooting, up close shooting, CQB distances, you should practice or at least experience all of them. The next one. I am a prepper. I've got my AR. We're good. We got my AR. Okay, man, how good is your handgun skill? Well, I'm not very good with a handgun, but if the fucking balloon goes up, I'm going to run my AR. That's great, dude. But here's the thing. As much as I agree that you should be able to carry your AR wherever you want, you stick out when you go places. Handguns are useful because I can put this in my pants. I can conceal this on my person legally. I can do that. You cannot stuff a freaking AR down your pants. Well, I mean, maybe you can, but I can't. Being proficient with a handgun is one of those things where this is a life-saving device that you have access to literally 99% of the time. Whereas you may have to go back to your truck to get your AR in the fight. You should have this on you. As I've said before, every good red-blooded American that can legally own firearms should be carrying it. Food for thought. If you are not efficient with this handgun, not necessarily the blue gun, but you get what I'm saying. If you're not efficient with a handgun, you should be working harder. This is a primary thing that you will use in a situation for defense. Almost guaranteed, if you were to get into a self-defense situation, this is going to be what you're running, a handgun. Why in the hell would you not want to be as proficient as humanly possible with a handgun? I get it. ARs are cool. They're easier to shoot. I love mine. I shoot a shitload of AR, but I shoot a shitload of handgun too, because knowing how to run this system that I am more than likely going to have my hands on makes a lot more sense than dedicating all my time to just running ARs or AKs. The next one for me is witnessing the guy on the range that is fast as hell. I mean, he can burn it down, but he can't hit shit. I see this shit a lot. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da. And like the fucking group's this big and half of them are off the target. No, dude. Nobody gives a shit how fast you are. Nobody really does. The game is speed and accuracy. And basically the way it works when we talk speed and accuracy is as one increases, the other most of the time will decrease. So if you are aiming for a super precise, accurate shot, you are going to be slower taking that shot than you will be if you're burning out 5 rounds on a bill drill with a bigger target area for an acceptable level of accuracy. The faster you go, the less accuracy you will have, but the more accurate you need to be, the more you need to slow down. You need to be, the perfect balance for you as a shooter is knowing when one of them is applicable. If you have no idea how to shoot an accurate shot and you're fast, you're not a great shooter, man. You need to have both of them and know how to slide that scale depending on your situation. The next one, flat range ninja. That dude can draw and like in 5 rounds, bill drills, 777s, casino drills, whatever. They can run those all day long. But the second I ask them to move, it all falls apart. The second I put them in a different position other than standing straight up, it all falls apart. You should be pushing yourself to shoot barricades. You should be pushing yourself for movement, walking, moving, shooting while walking. You should be able to push yourself to try these things. If you don't have access to a range that allows you to do it, try to find somebody else you can link up with, because being a flat range ninja is cool and it looks great on Instagram. But I've never seen a stationary gunfight ever. You need to be more dynamic in your training. Being dynamic in your training while being safe means that you are more capable when the time comes that you should ever find yourself in that situation. Being stationary, shooting stationary targets can make you fast, can make you accurate. But the wheels will come off if I force you to move, put you in a weird position, make the target move, make you run ahead of time. Be dynamic in your training. Number 6. Everybody wants to be John Wick and do John Wick stuff until it's time to do the things that John Wick is so fast for, which is fundamentals. Fundamentals are unsexy, slow, and methodical. But here's the deal. Being fast and being high speed looking on the range and during a tactics operation, whatever, being able to shoot fast and accurate is a result of repetitive fundamentals instruction. Draw the gun, present out, obtain sights, get your sight picture, prep the trigger, squeeze the trigger, round hits where you're aiming, do it again. Just your draw, one shot, boom. Do it again. Just your draw, one shot, boom. Check my work through my sights. Put it away, do it again. Fundamentals are how you get fast. Nobody has ever been fast that does not have a rock solid, just bedrock of fundamentals in which they can draw on. Because all of those little things, from hand placement to the draw, to making your grip, to establishing your grip, to pressing out, to holding the firearm, to acquiring your sights, during recoil, to prepping your trigger, to pressing the trigger, to resetting the trigger. All of these things are fundamentals that can be broken down one by one, and most can be worked on in dry fire. The only thing you can't work in dry fire is recoil control, but you could work transitions, trigger prep, out of the holster, acquiring your sights, doing all of those fundamentals and doing them more quickly, more automatic, which is going to make you a faster, more efficient, more badass John Wicky shooter on the range or in real life. Fundamentals are the key. If you don't do fundamentals, you're going to suck. You're just going to suck really fast. Number 7. I know a lot of guys that fall into this one, and that is they train all kinds of gun stuff, cool guy shit, but they don't do any medical training. That's great. I didn't know you were invincible and you had an invisibility cloak and all this cool shit, but I will tell you right now that you are more likely to need medical than you ever are the cool shit on your belt. You should be training medical. Now, I'm not saying buy a bunch of trauma kits, break into your trauma kit every time. Please don't stick a real chest seal to your friend. He's going to hate you. That shit doesn't come off. But you should be able to do wounded shooter drills. That means being able to tourniquet your arm. This arm's out of the fight. Can I manipulate this with one hand? Can I tap rack with one hand? How do I reload this if this arm no longer works? Do I know how to shoot with one hand because I can't get a grip? Do I know how to get accurate hits like that? Can I run a rifle using my sling to create tension and make accurate shots with a rifle? Can I reload that rifle? Can I fix malfunctions in that rifle? These are all things you learn by training the medical side of the house, which would be shooter down drills or injured shooter drills. Knowing how to get that tourniquet on your body and back into the fight that's where it's at. You need to throw medical into your training for this stuff. I don't care. Even if you just finish your day with some wounded shooter drills, couple mags for pistol, maybe a mag or two for rifle, learn how to do it and become proficient at it, because if the day comes that you're in that situation, there will be absolutely no substitute for you having done it before and knowing how to work that problem. Number 8. Get good in the dark, guys. I got a weapon-mounted light. I got my handheld light. I'm good. I got all my stuff. But here's the thing. If I don't combine this with this, I don't know how to do it. If I don't combine this with, the syringe method, or if I don't, with the modified FBI or the neck index, you have to go out and actually train these. And it becomes more important for the weapon-mounted light portion of it because, like I mentioned in rifle, badly set up tape switches and stuff. Can you activate that light consistently and effectively under pressure and make accurate hits? Can you do that with your handgun-mounted light? You should be training at night. You should be shooting your gun at night. One more time, people in the back, again, my Marines, put down your crayons. You should shoot at night. You need to know how to shoot with a weapon light or a handheld light and your firearm of choice at night. Have you ever shot at night so that you know that, hey, I had this brightness setting a little too high on my red dot, my RMR, and I pulled it up and I just flared out my screen? Have you ever shot with a rifle and realized your red dot was up a couple notches too high and it washed your screen out? You won't know these things unless you shoot at night. And it's not always just at night that this becomes applicable. Let's say you're in your house, it's the middle of the day, a movie theater, another great example. Those places are dark. And you need to be able to effectively employ a handheld or weapon-mounted light to resolve a situation. And the only way you learn how to do that is shooting at night. So go out, find a place you can do it, and get good at night, guys. Very important. Number 9, find your limits as a shooter. Know what they are and then push beyond them. You will know when you've done that because your hits will start suffering. If you are dead on accurate at 15 yards and we're putting them all this big, you are not going fast enough. Push that envelope till that group expands beyond your acceptable level of accuracy and then dial it back. The more you work those fundamentals, that will make you faster. The faster you will become, and you will have to constantly evaluate and move your limits. Same thing with precision rifle, long distance shooting, knowing your ability to shoot. There's a great target, a spinner system. It's a know your limits target. Starts a little bigger, gets very small. That's how you get better. You have to be able to identify your limits. You do that with a shot timer and ammunition and time on a range. Find your limits, know what they are, and then move past them. Knowing those limits is also important in a high stress situation because, again, you will not get better in a fight. You will revert to your highest level of training, your highest level of your limit. You will get back to your limit, and that's where you're going to work at. So knowing your limits and not knowing that on your best day during this one shot you made one round that could have actually ended this situation, you would know because you've tested these things that, hey, I need to get closer if I intend to end this problem. This is not where I can comfortably take this shot and make it and I could injure somebody else. Remember, every bullet you fire's got a lawyer attached to it till it stops moving. And if you're in the wrong thing, even after that. So, know your limits, identify them, and work to go beyond them. Constantly push yourself to be a better, more efficient shooter, whether that's speed, accuracy, reloads, manipulations on the firearm, working at night. Know your limits, establish what they are, and move to get beyond them. Number 10, precision shooting. Everybody should be shooting for precision. I don't mean just behind a rifle with a 5-30 on it. I don't mean that. I mean whatever precision is for that deal. If that means you're trying to keep them all in a playing card at 25 yards with iron sights with your handgun, that's what you need to do. That's precision. Accuracy means it'll hit it. Precision means you can do it a lot. Okay, so you need to go in there and establish what that is and work to become more efficient at precision. Make your targets smaller. I've had guys reach out to me and say, hey, I would love to learn precision and longer distance shooting fundamentals, but I only have a 100-yard range. So put a smaller target up. Instead of shooting at a full IPSC at 100 yards, use a note card. Use a Post-it. Make your target smaller and smaller and smaller. Use a 1-inch paster. A small 1-inch circle, something. Make your target smaller and smaller so that you have to work on your acceptable level of accuracy, sight picture, and trigger control as to not make you miss that shot. It is a great way to push your fundamentals and your ability to do those things in an area where it normally wouldn't matter. Because at 100 yards, your trigger control is not as important as you want it to be shooting an AR and an IPSC. But if I put you on that AR shooting at a 1-inch dot on the IPSC at 100 yards, you're going to have to slow things down. You're going to have to be in complete control of this guy and make sure that you're not disturbing anything when you break that shot. That's a great way to train for precision. And here's the thing I'll tell you. If you can hit a 1-inch circle at 100 yards, you can be downright fucking scary at 50. So work on precision. It's more important than you realize. Being fast isn't everything if you miss what you're aiming at. I love the statement that you will never miss fast enough to make up for not having a good shot. One of the other ones that I love to do is shooting a 22 long rifle. Because at 100 yards with a 22 long rifle trying to shoot smaller targets, that can be a bitch. Even if you only have access to a 300-yard range, how many times have you shot 22 long rifle 300? I'm not talking about the 22 NRL guys. Those guys are a different breed. Taking a 22 and establishing a harder to make level of accuracy is going to make you a more precise shooter over time. And when you work on precision stuff, we're not just talking about did the bullet go where I want to go. We're talking about your natural point of aim. Where are you comfortable at in the prone that you have a natural point of aim for the target? Your natural respiratory pause. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you breathe in and you breathe out normally, all right, so breathe in. Do this exercise with me, guys. Breathe in, breathe out. Blow the rest out. The spot before you blew the rest out and where I told you to do it is your natural respiratory pause. You still have some oxygen inside of your lungs to create the vacuum to get more air in, and you're the most stable right there. That is what a natural respiratory pause is. Your natural point of aim should be that when you're at natural respiratory pause, that rifle doesn't move and it's on your target. If you're not there, you need to adjust your body so that you're there. Don't move the rifle. Trigger control, another big one, and your acceptable sight picture, depending on how small it is or what you're shooting at what distance. The smaller it is, the more refined your sight picture's got to be, and that can really force the envelope, especially when you start pushing speed into it. So then I'll give you 4 little bonus things, and the last one's going to lead into the next video. First one is having a grasp of what your round is doing. I know lots of shooters that shoot and they have absolutely zero fucking idea what that round is doing in between when it leaves their barrel and when it impacts the target. You should have a basic, fundamental, rudimentary grasp of ballistics between you and where you're shooting at for your weapon system. You don't have to know what an AK-47 is doing if you're not shooting an AK. But knowing that, all right, well, I'm looking at roughly 12 minutes, 60 inches at 500 yards with this. Understanding that, just kind of in the back of your brain, a basic grasp that the bullets, you're launching a bullet at an arc. You have a point where it initially crosses your zero plane, and you have a point where it comes back down. Think 5,200. So at 5,200 zero, you've set it up so that on its arc up, it impacts at 50 where you want, but that bullet comes back down at 200. Same thing with the 25-300 zero. Know kind of what your bullet's doing, because that's going to help you doing things like understanding your mechanical offset at close range, understanding that if you've got a 25-300 yard zero, you might need to aim a little low in some places or a little high depending on your acceptable level of accuracy. So understand what that bullet is doing, at least at a rudimentary level when you're shooting at any kind of a distance or with a handgun at all. Your next one, people don't shoot irons enough. I know red dots are the shit. I have red dots literally in every rifle. Like half my handguns all have red dots. But I will tell you that every time I go to the range, at some point, I run iron sights. I do that because it's always a good idea to understand that I can always be accurate, effective, and fast with my iron sights. And it's a perishable skill. So if you don't fucking practice it, you're going to get worse at it. Every time with an AR with a red dot, I'll pop up my rear sight and I'll spend 10 reps or something, going through my iron sights, engaging and getting a good sight picture, sight alignment, and understanding how those work, just to refresh my own brain. Spend a little time at your range trip shooting your iron sights again. Number 3 bonus is shooting everything you can is more gun fu, okay? Gun fu is the fine, subtle art of fighting with a rifle, a handgun, a shotgun, or something like that. But you need to go out and take reps on as many different kinds of firearms as you can. If your buddy's got great guns you've never shot before, take a minute and shoot some of those. Trade some shooting time on some of your stuff. Get familiar with a bunch of different systems. You will understand kind of how they work, and it'll give you a better grasp, and you will start to learn things you never knew before about things like AKs, PSLs, 308 guns, bolt guns, and stuff. You will learn more by getting experience on tons of different firearms than you ever will just sticking to the one. Now, I do believe there is some truth to the beware of the man who has one gun because he can fucking use it. That's true too. But the more experience you have on different weapon systems, the more well-rounded you will be as a shooter, making you more efficient and more effective as a gunfighter. So, do some gun fu, learn how to use different weapon systems, get some experience behind different things. And next up, do some shoot, don't shoots. RE Factor Tactical makes great stickers that go on targets. Do shoot, no shoot targets. Those force you as a shooter to make decisions about what you're seeing and whether or not you'd pull the trigger in an environment that doesn't end with you getting raped in prison because you fucked up. Take some time, do some shoot, no shoots. If you've got questions about those, reach out. I'll be glad to give you advice, places you can go. Get hold of those and see what you can get. And the last one, not least, is know what a light vulnerability is for you. Light vulnerability is the difference between seeing a target normally, hitting it with a flashlight, and understanding what you're seeing with a flashlight. I have seen the biggest, baddest flashlights on the planet at 50 yards ruin people's day when they realize they fucked up on the target. We run something very cool when we teach the academy. It's known as the light vulnerability test. And basically what we do is we'll have 3 targets, either shoot, no shoot, some form of fashion of the word, and we will ask new and upcoming officers to shine a light. We'll give you to a count of 3, and then we will ask you what you saw. You will inevitably have somebody that would kill somebody they saw at 50 yards because of what they saw in a 3-second image with a flashlight. But by the time we get them up to 15 yards or 10 yards, they've now realized they've either shot an undercover cop, somebody with a badge on his belt, they shot a guy with a cell phone. Understand that there are serious limitations to what you can see with your light at night. It's not always what you think it is. Take the time Understand the vulnerabilities with your lighting system, either on your weapon mounted light or your handheld light, and know what your limitations are going to be as far as where you would comfortably be able to take that shot. You do those with shoot no shoot targets at night in that. And again, if you're not good at night, go get good at night shooting. And the last bonus piece we've got on here is know your weapons systems, your personal weapons, everything about your personal weapons systems. I'm talking an intimate knowledge, because these things, if shit hits the fan, the balloon goes up, you are talking about something that will be your best friend in the worst environment known to man. You should know everything about that weapon system. Something like this guy. This is my CZP-07. This has a Cajun Gunworks trigger job, Cajun Gunworks hammer job, no red dot on this guy. Tritium sights in the front and the rear. I do not have a safety. I have a decocker. This guy is clear, by the way. And I have a 500 lumen weapon light. I know that this firearm has 4,400 rounds on it. I am aware at 50 yards I can put together good groups. I am fast. I am accurate with this handgun. I know my limitations with this handgun because I know everything about this handgun. I can literally, if you put me blindfolded and just handed me this gun, I could be like, I'm at half cocked. Yep, that's full cocked. Yep, that's not back at all. Because there's 3 positions on this. So I have like the full cocked, and then if I drop that on there, I have a little bit more play in this. Understanding that double action trigger, how it's going to feel, where it's going to break out. Those are intimate knowledge questions with your firearm that you should be able to answer. You should know every single quirk, idiosyncrasy, anything with your rifle, your shotgun, your handgun. You should know everything about it because that is your life-saving tool and your best friend if the balloon ever does go up. So guys, there you go. My top 10 mistakes I see in training all the time from people when we go out there or shooting with other people, things that they've told me they work on, don't work on. It's a lot more prevalent than you want. We got some bonus stuffs, and we're going to go over some of that know your weapon stuff in a future video. I'm going to bring out rifles, long distance rifles, bolt guns, shotguns, handguns, and we're going to talk about all of them and kind of what I look at and the way I set my stuff up, knowing my firearms, every little idiosyncrasy. And I'll pick some specific ones that have like real things that you have to keep in mind, that if I handed it to you, you might not be able to run it as well as you want because you don't understand that. How many times have you ever gotten a gun? I have a buddy that's got an AR gold trigger. It's like 1 pound. First time I went to shoot it, was not ready for that, was not expecting it at all. It's not mine. I didn't have an intimate knowledge of that firearm. And even though he told me, I was not ready for it. But I know now, and if I ever touched one of those again, I'd be able to run the shit out of it. It's experience, handling other kinds of weapons, shooting them. But more than that, having an intimate knowledge of that system itself. So guys, there you go. I'm Uncle Freedom. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this comment. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And also, I'll give a shout out to somebody real quick. If you haven't checked out 9-Hole Review's video on the modernized G3, that shit's awesome. It's a 2-part series. Please go check it out. They're great. I don't know those guys. They don't know me, but I love their content. They make some great stuff. Same thing with Small Arms Solution. Modern Tactical Solution is all shooting is also really good. Jeff Gerwich, I think is his name, is a former SF guy. He makes great stuff. Magic Prepper's also pretty good, though I haven't caught any of his recent videos, but there's some good channels for you guys to go look at, guys that I like and respect that are doing stuff. So again, I'm Uncle Freedom. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, take care of yourself, take care of each other. And until next time, I'll see you later.